Across the Midwest are complaining tonight about a solar company that's gone dark, leaving some with solar panels sitting on their land, but not hooked up to the grid. KTIV's Matt Hoffman joins us in studio now. And Matt, I know you visited one of these solar panel customers in Quimby. Right. What did they have to say about the whole situation?
Yeah, to be honest, he's frustrated that he has all these panels sitting on his property, but even on sunny days like today, they're not doing anything. Just to be very clear, his entire solar panel setup is ready to go. It's passed all the government inspections, the wires are hooked up, it just needs to be turned on. But for more than a year, this homeowner says Revolution Solar failed to flip the switch. Aaron Bailey owes the bank more than $50,000. That would be fine if his solar system was up and running to save him money. The whole idea is to cover the loan for the solar panels with electric savings. But the problem is, while the panels are installed, they aren't even turned on. But the bank wants its money. Let me make sure I got this straight. No rebate.
Nope.
And no working solar system.
Exactly.
Bailey is in an electrical storm. He only needs one more piece of paperwork from Revolution Solar to connect to the grid. He says they've refused for more than a year.
We were just left on our own, and we went back on the review site and basically put our number and said if anyone else is seeing this, give us a call. Within a day, 10 to 15 people messaged saying they did the same thing to us.
The irony is Friday would be a great day for this solar panel system here in rural Quimby. The sun is shining bright, but instead of working, these panels are just sitting here doing nothing. Bailey provided us a copy of a letter sent from the Iowa Attorney General's office to impacted consumers. In the letter, dated March of 2024, the AG asked Revolution Solar to stop doing business in Iowa until all its outstanding projects were complete. Bailey says Revolution did stop, but they also disappeared.
They're definitely gone because there's no way to get a hold of them. All numbers connected to them say they're disconnected.
Bailey says the system was supposed to save him at least 80% on his electric bill, which ranges from $150 to $250 per month. But now he just wants the panels gone so his kids can use the yard again. Now, we do have a response from the loan group. That's the company that holds a lot of these solar loans. That company says, in part, we stand in solidarity with those affected and want to make it clear that Revolution's actions have harmed us all. We are working diligently to correct Revolution's mistakes because we believe it is the right thing to do. Now, Matt, we asked this loan company why they would provide the solar company the money before these panels were actually up and running. They didn't respond to that question.
All right. Matt Hoffman for us tonight. Matt, thank you.